evening, everyone. How are we doing this evening? Great, great, great. Thank you for coming out as we here at Elife and the Life Center at Hampton Park are working aggressively to create an entertainment space for you that can save you from going down into DC and fighting all the traffic and paying $50 to park and what else? Getting out of the event only to find out that the garage that you parked your car in is locked till 6 o'clock in the morning and you got to figure out what to do and to get to work and all that, or all the other drama that's going on in DC. We're wanting to bring this to you so that one, you can get home in 15 minutes because most of us live out here, right? And the entertainers can get home. So we're working very diligent, and we appreciate your support for us in this hour as we begin, as we're in this birth canal looking to bring this baby forth. So we're very thankful for our brother Kent Miller and his, yes, thank you, and his responding to my call and agreeing to bring his group out this evening. I'm very thankful that they agreed to come out. It's no small thing to, when you're getting calls from the Birchmere and you're getting calls from all these other folks that got big long checks that they write you, you come in here, it's a little different, but we're going to work with one another and we're going to make it successful because Blues Alley didn't start where it is today, right? It started somewhere else. So we appreciate your continued support. And this is a great coming together of not only entertainers here on the front of the room, but also an institution. We are 30 years in the business of providing a viable food source to our community. 30 years, and that's quite an accomplishment in our community. Thank you. We didn't open up a fast food, bad for you food restaurant. We opened up a healthy food restaurant in the hood, and they said it would never work. They said, no. You should sell fried chicken, and you should sell, soda, and all kinds of other stuff that our people didn't need. So we purposefully did this in our community so that we could do what we can to save our people's lives and to extend our people's lives. So this is, we handle the food on the other side. On this side, the entertainment is on the same wavelength. In that, this isn't, we don't allow anybody to come up here and perform music that would not be healthy and good for our community. We just don't allow it. Can't do it. Sorry. I know you're a great performer. I know you can fill up the room. I know your social media is through the roof. But if you're going to be calling our women out a name, and if you're going to be talking about killing and whatever else it's just not, this isn't the place. So we maintain a certain sanctity here in this space to support people who have an appreciation for it on both sides of the room, those that are entertaining and those that are coming for the entertainment. So, I know you didn't come to hear me talk, but I'm thankful that you all did come out, and we ask that you all grab something to eat in the dining room over there, and please support the vendors, because the vendors are how we're able to subsidize and make this thing work. So please, before you leave, make sure you show some love and support to the vendors. And don't let this be your last time to come out. We've got a lot of great things going on here. I'll talk a little bit more about that later on in this evening. But until then, you all enjoy the sounds of the TNek Entertainment Group with our lead brother Kent Miller. Thank you all very much.
How's everybody doing this evening? Great, great. I just want to follow what Brother Baruch and say that I appreciate you coming out, and the brother, what he's trying to do here is vitally important. He approached me, he saw my website, he called me, and I told him, I said, look, I really don't have a following in that area. Folks that come see me typically are in the city, near a train. But because of what he was trying to do and get this thing going out here, I was willing to, go in my pocket if necessary to support. And so that's in light of today's climate, it's vitally important that we support each other. Yeah. So that's what we're doing here today. And hopefully the word circulates. Next time we come in, we have a few more of us supporting this. And this is vitally important that we need to do. So we're going to play some music for you. We want to take you on this journey. Hope you enjoy this journey with us. This first composition we're going to do is a Duke Jordan. I don't know if anybody's familiar with Duke Jordan, but he was a talented pianist. This tune is entitled No Problem, and this is our version of No Problem. Thank you very much. This next composition is a Wayne Shorter composition entitled Marie Antoinette. Marie Antoinette. Let me introduce the group here real quick. On my left here is, far left is our master drummer, Mr. Nasser Abiday. Yeah. Nasser Abiday. And the fine young man, tenor saxophonist, Mr. Elijah Easton. Elijah Easton. To my right here on keys is Mr. Ellington Carther. Ellington Carther. This next composition we're going to do for you is entitled Samuel. Yusuf Salim this is his composition, Samuel. Hope you enjoy it. Elijah Easton. Elder Tim Carson. That was a beautiful composition, wasn't it? That was a McCoy Tyner, Search for Peace. All these compositions we're playing, we may play one original of Masters, but we're trying to, if you are not aware of these great master musicians who transcended through time to their period, and they created this beautiful music to take forward for folks like us to continue to play and pass on and interpret the music. This particular composition was entitled Search for Peace. And that's something that we desperately need worldwide. You know, it's here. Don't give up. Keep up the fight. But we do need to search for peace and pass it on. We're going to do another composition as soon as I can gather with the fellas what we want to do. 1 second. Elijah Easton, Anthony Parker, Master Drummer, Master Alabama. We're going to take a short break, but let me tell you this real quick. So, and I don't know where your faith is, but, for me, God speaks to me in this music. And he spoke to me with this ensemble. Now, we've never played together. Okay? I crushed and got the music together. And I was telling Elijah, I got 3,000 albums at home, 4,000 albums. And I take it from the turntable and put it into the computer and then use the music software, sit down and pick out the notes. And so we got the music down. Everybody's busy. So we tried to have one rehearsal. And unfortunately, Elijah couldn't make it. We got through all the charts real quick. I said, well, get here, early, and we'll run through the music one time. Because we played with each other in other situations, but not as this ensemble. So, as we were playing the first couple of tunes, they went like, but God said, don't worry about it. It'll find its way. And as we went through it, it went just like this. And that's what we're going through now. It's going like this. Don't keep the faith, and eventually things will go like this. So this group, look for it more, but talk to the cats and try to make it a working group, and hopefully we'll be back. But we're going to take a short break, very short break, and we'll be right back. Thank you very much.